Who is it? Oh, DMS. Let me put some pants on first. All right, let's come inside. All right, DMS, welcome, and let's go check out my studio. What's up, Darth Vader?
The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
And we're here in my studio space. So what's up, everybody? My name is Pri yon Joni. I am the 2019 Red Bull 3-Style Live Remix winner. You got that, boy! In the competition. I am a product demonstrator for Pioneer DJ. I'm an instructor for digital DJ tips. And I'm also a content creator for YouTube. I've been a mix artist and producer for the last nearly 27 years.
When I was your age, I was a maintenance man, a carpenter, a cab driver, a cook, a hospital orderly, a security guard, a tour guide, a fish cleaner, and an Amway distributor all in the same day.
And this is my studio space where I make my music and I do my live streams. Okay, so for my live stream setup, basically it starts with a really good table. I have a height adjustable table right here and it has wheels, 6 feet wide. The reason why I have it on wheels is so that I can also bring it to this side of the studio if I want the camera to face this way. But lately I've been facing the camera against the wall, especially when I record my lessons for YouTube. That's why I have the whiteboard there. And right now I got 4 CDJ3000s and a DJM V10, but I often switch the gear. A lot of the gear in my house is actually not mine. Like I said, I'm a demonstrator for Pioneer DJ, so I do a lot of testing and demonstrations, as well as doing video content for Zounds. So I like to switch up the gear. Right now we got the Nexus setup. For cameras, I have 3 cameras. I got my Canon 80D with a fisheye lens. When I'm live streaming, this is what I use. It's up close, it gives more action. But whenever I'm recording, I take the camera stand, bring it back, and I put the 24mm lens on there so that it's a more professional looking shot. On the side, I have a sports camera. It's a T5E. And up top, my overhead, which you see the gear coming down, it's an AX33 by Sony. It's a 4K camera. When I'm recording demonstrations, I use 4K. When I'm doing live streams, I just use the 1080p at 24 frames. So the way I have all the cameras set up is it's actually going into this USB hub. Right now, I don't have an ATEM Mini. So everything I do is within OBS. And this is all my video. My capture cards are over here. They're actually the $12 capture cards that have been on Amazon. But for my main camera, I have a nicer capture card. Ooh, that's getting hot. And it has a through output. For all my sound, I actually route it all to my Mackie Pro Effects. So this is basically my interface. Most people would be using an iRig that's coming from their DJ mixer. I actually route it to the Pro Effects, and that's what goes straight to the computer. So I'm gonna walk this way. So one of the reasons why I use the Pro Effects is because I can add reverb to my voice. So I have a Mackie EM89D microphone. It's a dynamic microphone. And it's nice to have reverb in your live streams, because one of the things about being in a room like this, especially with the acoustics treatment, is that it's very dry. And if you want that somewhat roomy sound, you have to add a little artificial reverb. So the DJ gear usually is plugged directly to the Mackie Pro Effects. I have my guitar gear actually connected to the mixer. When I have a big mixer like this, I plug it to the mixer. When I'm using a small controller in my live stream setup, I plug it to the Pro Effects. So going from the Pro Effects and the hub, everything is routed and controlled via OBS. So I have all my scenes here. As you can see, Mr. Camera Guy is right there, aka Agent Woo. So this is what's this is my 16-inch MacBook Pro. And the reason why I'm using it for live streaming is because it's my most powerful computer.
By the power of Grayskull.
It can handle multiple camera sources, limited on how much can be run on each USB port, but it can handle multiple camera sources, including a screen capture from the other computer. So over here, this is the computer that I used to run DJ software. If I'm playing standalone, like I'm using with the CDJs, this computer is usually not doing anything. But when I'm using DJ software, whether it's Serato or Rekordbox, I'm using the XMG DJ50. It's a computer where the parts are handpicked and optimized to give you the lowest latency when you're running DJ software. And XMG is a German company, and this was actually shipped from Germany, and it's a really, really good computer. The only thing I got to get used to is the international keyboard, because, you know, the enter key is a little different. But who knew? I'm a big Mac guy, but this is my first Windows experience in almost a decade. So I'll have you come around here. So on my walls, I have some LEDs, some big LED lights, and I can change these colors. Sometimes I put them on a fade, because the reason why I have white walls is so that I can change the colors up. And this gives a different mood, especially if you don't have a backdrop. I'm not the biggest fan of green screen, so I have to use color and lighting to make the background interesting, especially since I have a whiteboard. And over here underneath, when I don't have space up on the height adjustable table, this is my multi-effects processing for my guitar. I usually keep it underneath because I'm not usually changing the patches, but I just have it here. It's a Boss GT1. My volume control is this expression pedal.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I have just one question for you. What are those?
Just right below. I usually keep my beverages for live streaming right here on this little stool. A lot of DJs will love to show you their entire vinyl collection. This right here is my entire vinyl collection. It's only that thick. That's what she said. But it's mostly time-code vinyl for Rekordbox, Serato, and I do have a couple scratch vinyl Super Seal. Probably the only album I have in here. I got my favorite scratch records I grew up to, Super Ducks. It's still sealed. And I have some timecode vinyl for Tractor Scratch Pro 2. This is how old this is. Okay, so over here, this is how I keep my stuff organized. All my data cables are in this drawer. All my audio cables, RCAs, XLRs, are over here. And all my power cables are down below. I keep my camera bag over here in case whenever I need to switch lenses. So like I said, I use the 24mm a lot when I do lessons and content. And I also have a 50mm when I want to do close-ups. We'll close this. So these two keyboards we got a classic Roland Xb50. This is a keyboard from the 90s. It's actually dubbed as the first keyboard workstation back in the day. This was a hand-me-down for me. And it was one of the first sequencers live arranger keyboards that were out on the market. This one is the Radical Technologies Accelerator. This is a synthesizer from Radical Technologies. I used to do work for, I've done work for a company called Radical Records, done remixes for them. And they're part of this company called Radical Technologies. This is a German synthesizer, and they sent this to me and I used it in a lot of my production. So over here is my studio desk. We have two 8-inch studio monitors, and those are my main monitors. These three right here are coaxial monitors. That means the tweeter and the woofer are together, but they are not connected, because what I'm planning on for here is I'm gonna do a 5.1 surround setup so I can do mix downs for film. So the desk is from Studio Desk. This is the Music Commander desk. And same with the Ergo X chair. It's a super comfortable chair. Great for gaming. And I use Ableton with it. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, hey, you need to get a display. I love to use my laptops. I don't have a display yet. But basically I have my Akai APC40 here since I use Ableton. I got a MIDI Plus X8 Pro. I just got this week. This is an 88 key MIDI keyboard. What I like about it is that it's not too deep, which leaves me a lot of room to put my keyboard and trackpad right here, so I don't have to have it up top and push the screen too far back. So I can actually keep my laptop pretty close. This is my 15-inch MacBook Pro. This has been my powerhouse. I've had this since 2013 and it runs Ableton really, really well. Over here I have an old iPad, an iPad Retina, and it's basically obsolete because you can't update the iOS. However, I still use it to do DAW remote control. So if I have a singer in here and she has to press record remotely and I'm away from the desk, we can do that wirelessly using this app. So this is my editor's key condenser microphone. It's a USB microphone, and I use this for when I'm talking on Zoom calls or podcasts. It's quick. I don't need to go through an audio interface. I can get portable with this, and that's what I use that for. Over here, we got a power conditioner with a sequence timer on for 3 sets of circuits. So that way, certain circuits will turn on first and then it'll go backwards when they're shutting off. The reason why that's really, really important for me is because there's certain processors where I have to turn on first before I turn on the monitors, or you might hear a pop. And same thing going backwards. It's actually specifically this DBX drive rack that I have. If I shut this off with the monitors on, you're gonna hear a really, really loud pop. Now, I use this drive rack for one reason. It's specifically so that I can correct the rooms. So whatever the speaker's frequency response is, based on how the acoustics of the room work, it can correct and give me a flatter response. Right below it is a headphone monitor. It's basically a way for me to monitor multiple headphones when I have a vocalist in here. And below the desks, I have a 10-inch subwoofer. I actually face it away from me so that I can control how close I get to it. I basically had to tune it in a way that worked for me. So my subwoofer is a little stronger than what a properly tuned studio would sound like. In fact, when I went to Germany at Red Bull Studios, the $1 million studio I was in, I felt like, there's not enough bass. And that's just probably because I perform live in bass heavy rooms, that my equilibrium for how much bass I need when I'm making music is a lot higher. Like, I have a higher tolerance for it, even though that's probably not the right way to be listening. But that's why I have the subwoofer. And I actually have multiple different presets on the drive rack to give me completely flat, where it sounds super neutral, versus the way I like it to sound, which is just a little bit curved on the lower end. So over here I have what every ADHD person needs to have. This is my Mess Desk 1. I have all sorts of multicolored Chroma cables, and these aren't Chroma cables, but they're color-coded MIDI cables. Basically, I like to use different colors of the same type of cable so they're really easy to locate when you're using a USB hub, especially when you're using multiple DJ gear. You don't want to be trying to figure out which cable you need to unhook and you unhook the wrong one, especially when you're in a live setting. It's really great to have cables that are different colors, and they come with the ferrite choke so that they resist a lot of interference. Over here is my mess desk number 2, because that desk was just, I was outgrowing it a bit. We got extra USB to USB Type-C adapters or dongles. I have extra HDMI capture cards. We got adapters. We got microphones. If I have a guest here live streaming with me, I'm gonna give them a separate microphone because, you know, COVID. This is my other microphone, for a cheaper microphone in case I ever lose any of my lapel mics. So down here are all the controllers. A couple of these are mine, a couple of them are not. This is the Flex 6. We got the DDJ 200. We got both my SB3s. I had to get the silver one because I just love brighter colored DJ gear. And this was my first DJ gear, the one that I had my first viral video, which was my, this is falling. My first viral video was done with this. This is the SB2 when I did the Peter Piper routine. And this is a DDJ 400. And we got a DDJ 800 over here. And whenever I'm ready for a gig, I use a lot of different jetpacks, and depending on which, what I need to take with me will determine which jetpacks I use. So we got this one I use for my guitar rig. So all my guitar stuff, like my GT1, it goes in there. This is the smaller jetpack that I use basically in my house, but it connects to this one, which can actually fit my controller along with my laptop. And this is the Jetpack Prime, which is basically everything I need, just minus the controller that I would be bringing. Most times at my gigs, I'm bringing an entry-level controller, not a big professional controller. So over here, like I said, I do a lot of demonstrations for Zounds and Pioneer DJ. This is my little armory where I keep everything organized. So we got a couple cases. We got 2 classic turntables over here. XP2. My Korg pad control. See if you remember this one. EFX 500. And then we got 2 PLX 1000s, the AS1, and we got the S7 and the DJM S11 Special Edition. And this is my neighbor's DJM S9 that I keep here for testing. And we got a pair of CDJ 2000 Nexuses, a DJM 750 Mark II, and we got the SP16. This is the SP16 that I used in my routine for Red Bull 3 Style that won the competition. And this is not mine. This is a friend of mine's CDJ 1000. Big shout out to DJ Bowie. This is a Mark I. It even has the older pre-bearing mechanism for the jog wheel. And we got a pair of Bullet 8s on the top. So got some turntable cases there. We got a guitar case, a Les Paul SKB case, which I've taken one time on an airplane. But these are my guitars. My favorite one that you see all the time is the EVH Wolfgang Special. I remember my first time going to NAMM for a Pioneer DJ. I skipped lunch to go check out the the EVH line to see if they came out with a special that was in white, and I found one. So just a couple months later, once it was in stock, I bought one for myself because I love white guitars. And I only have 2 white guitars. This was my customized, modified Les Paul style. The pickups are upgraded to P rails. The Floyd Rose is upgraded. And basically the idea here is if you get the same color guitar, your significant other isn't going to be able to tell how many guitars you own. And if you can see, there's a lot more slots here than there are guitars, and I plan on filling that up because once you start, you just can't stop. And we got my bass. The bass is slightly modified as well. I actually have it tuned like a 5-string, so this string is actually lower, and my guitar tech actually had to file the nut down to get that bigger string to fit in there. And we got Jade's acoustic guitar. This is actually Jade's, but she doesn't use it, so we just keep it down here. Oops. So I really appreciate you guys for watching my studio tour here at my home studio. Thank you, DMS. This was DMS Stream Tours.